We're going to do some exponential word problems on exponential growth and exponential decay. The first question, a city doubles its size every 7 years. If the population is currently 15,000, what will the population be in 21 years? So we're going to use our exponential equation, y equals a times b to the power of x. This is the main equation that we're going to be using in this section. Remember, A stands here. A stands for the initial population, or the number that you begin with here. In the beginning, how much was it? The initial population. So in this problem, the initial population is given to be 15,000. So I'm going to put A as 15,000 here. Okay. B tells us what's going on with the population. Here, the question, it says the city doubles its population every 7 years. So B is a scale by which it is increasing. It's doubling, so double means 2. So that's why I'm going to put B as 2. Now X tells me how many times is this happening, okay? In 21 years, and we know that it's going to double every 7 years. After every 7 years, the population is going to be double. So how many sevens are there in 21? So you want to divide that, okay? So 21 divided by 7, we know the answer is 3. So in 21 years, there is a set of 3 sevens. That means 3 times this population is going to double. All right. So how do we use this equation to solve this? So instead of A, we plug in 15,000. All right. This is times 15,000 times. B is double, so we put the number 2. X is how many times does it double in the given number of years. 21 years, 21 total years, and it doubles every 7 years. So 21 divided by 7, this is going to happen 3 times. Okay. So what we have to do is multiply 15,000 times 2 to the power of 3, which is 8, and then 15,000 times 8 is 120,000. So that is our population. Okay. Here, remember, to avoid a careless mistake, do not multiply 15,000 with 2 first. Remember the rules of PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponent is supposed to be done first. So do 2 to the power of 3 first, which is 8, and then multiply by 15,000 to get 120,000 as your answer. Now to do the second question, a town's population is currently 400. If the population triples every 57 years, what will be the population 285 years from now? So A, like we discussed in question number 1, is your beginning population. So this is going to be 400 because it is currently what we begin with. It's a number 400. B tells you the scale. Is it doubling? Is it tripling? Is it going 4 times? So in this question, it says that the population triples every 57 years. So B is 3. Now, the population will become, triples means it will become 3 times. It will become 3 times every 57 years. So we have to see, the question is asking what will be the population if we have 285 years, correct? 285 years. So you have to see how many 57s are there in 285. For that, you got to divide them. So when you divide that, 285 divided by 57, you get the answer as 5. So you plug in the values. A is 400, B is 3, X is 5, and you actually multiply them. So here 3 to the power of 5 will become 243. So when you multiply 243 times 400, you're going to get 97,200. Just plug it into your calculator and get your answer. Okay. So now for question number 3. Number 3. How much of a radioactive kind of ruthenium will be left after 16 hours if the half-life is 4 hours and you start with 6,656 grams. So here we are talking about how much will be left after 16 hours if the half-life is 4 hours. What do you mean by half-life? So half-life just means how much time does it take for something, for let's say a 10, to come down to a 5, half. How much time does it take for something to come down to half its original size? How much time, if it was 100, how much time does it take for 100 to come down to 50? So that's called half-life. Okay, really simply speaking, that's all it is. So here the number is decreasing. Okay, this is not an increase. So if you originally began with 100, half-life just means how much time does it take for it to become half the size. 100 becoming 50, how much time is that? That's half-life. So this is clearly not a problem where it's increasing, it's decreasing. Okay. So initially we started with 6,656 grams. So A is 6,656. B is the scale or the rate at which it increases or decreases. Here it is becoming half of the original. So B is the fraction half. X, how many times does this happen? We have 16 here, and it says the half-life is 4. Every 4 hours it becomes half of what it was originally. So for you to see how many times that happened, you got to divide the 16 by the 4, which is 4. So X is 4. Now you just plug in it into the formula. Initially A is 6,656 times, instead of B you have 1/2 to the power of 4. So first you put 1/2 to the power of 4 in the calculator, get the answer, and then multiply that by 6,656, and your answer is going to be 416 grams. That's what you're going to be left with. So whenever you see the word half-life, that B just becomes half in that problem. All right, and it's an exponential decay problem because B is less than 1. So it's an exponential decay problem, and B will be half whenever you see the word half-life in a problem. The next question. Typewriters are going out of fashion in the modern era. If 140,000 typewriters were sold this year and sales decline at a rate of 20% per year, how many will be sold 6 years from now? So in this question, we can, as we read the question, we can see that this is our keyword, decline. We know that here the numbers are not increasing. The number of typewriters being sold are not increasing, they are decreasing. So we should understand that this is a decay problem, exponential decay, not exponential growth. All right. So as we read, we know we began with 140,000 typewriters. So our initial number A is 140,000. Since it's decay, so here instead of saying it doubles, triples, or becomes half, they gave you the rate as a percent, right? So when the rate is given as a percent, B becomes, you have to understand, B becomes 1 plus or minus of the rate, and the rate must be written as a decimal. Okay, here the rate is given to be as 20%, right? It's given to be as 20%. When you change 20% to a decimal, 20% means 20 divided by 100, which is as a decimal, which is 0.2. So since it is a decline, we have to take not the positive, you have to take 1 minus R since it's decreasing. So B here is 1 minus the rate, which is 1 minus 0.2. The rate must be written in the form of a decimal. Do not leave it as 20%. Change it to a decimal. So that becomes 0.8. So that is your B. Okay. And X in this problem is, it's asking you how many will be sold in 6 years. So X is just 6. So all we have to do is plug in the numbers into the formula and solve. Instead of A, we have 140,000. Instead of B, we have 0.8. And instead of X, we have 6. Remember, this is multiplication. This dot right here is multiplication, and that's a decimal. Okay. So first you put 0.8 to the power of 6 in the calculator, get the answer, and then multiply that answer with 140,000. You're going to get the answer as a decimal here, which is 36,700.16. But since this is asking you for the number of typewriters, we should round that to the nearest whole number, because you can't sell 0.16 of a typewriter, so you have to round that to the nearest whole number. So this is approximately equal to 36,700 typewriters. So that is the answer for question number 4. Question number 5. So in this question, as we read it, we can see that there is a rate here. So it's saying that this farming company is increasing its water usage at the rate of 5%. So I'm just underlining the keywords here, and it looks like it started with 43,000 megaliters of water. So A must be 43,000, and B, since it's increasing, I have to go with the plus sign. It's 1 plus R, and the rate of increase here is given as 5%. So when we change 5% to a decimal, we know it's 5 divided by 100, which must be 0.05. So our B becomes 1 plus 0.05, which is equal to 1.05. So that's our B. Now X is just here. How much water will it use 2 years from now? So X is just 2. Plug it into our formula. A is 43,000 times B is 1.05 to the power of 2. Just put it straight into your calculator, but first do the exponent first. 1.05 to the power of 2. Multiply that answer with 43,000. That's a 0.